Secret Invasion Episode 1, where if we stop telling Nick Fury that he's old, past it, and useless, it'd be about 10 minutes long. I don't even like it being called Secret Invasion because everybody seems to know about it, and they were allowed to be here. If anything, my name for the show would be Ungrateful Prats. We start off with the clip you may have already seen. He's walking down a tunnel and gets a gun out of his sock. Why a special agent's walking around carrying it in there, I have no idea. Sorry mate, you've accosted me, I need to defend myself. If you could just let me bend over for a second while you do nothing to me, I'd really appreciate it, cheers. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D, always prepared for action. They start off with a monologue, imagine a world where information can't be trusted. Disney as subtle as ever. The world would collapse, society would fray. But in this world, even people can't be trusted to be who they say they are. What follows is an incredibly long, drawn-out scene, desperately hoping that you'll stay awake through it. And it can best be summarized by this.
Skrulls.
That's basically the first 5 minutes. Now, they do spend their time telling you about events that sound really interesting that I would love to have seen.
Argentina attacks Colombia. Colombia attacks the Philippines. Chain reaction, consuming the globe.
Sounds really entertaining, mate. It's a shame you didn't put any of it in the show. Oh, were you too desperate to get to the Nick Fury parts to tell him how trash he was? But he's basically describing the Skrulls have got together and are destabilizing the world, and you're like, did you not see that one coming? You invite an alien species that can shapeshift into anyone on Earth onto your planet. What were you, too busy telling Fury how he's all... Okay, don't worry, I'll drop it. The show won't, though. So they hark back to Captain Marvel. You promised them a new planet and you haven't given them one. You know what it's like when someone makes you a promise and you don't get your own way? You start to just blow up entire cities. We've all been there.
Fury promised to find them a new planet. Now they don't want just any planet. They want ours.
I don't know why. Ours has got Slough in it. Can you imagine traveling across space, invading an entire planet, and then still ending up in Slough? I'd go home. Their planet's been destroyed. Yeah, but at least it's not Slough.
Can't you see it? All these groups, they're the same.
Bigot.
And there is only a tiny handful known to live on Earth.
Why is that helpful? Oh yeah, these people can impersonate anyone and you'll never know. But there's only a few of them. Even if there was only 10, you could take over the leaders of the most powerful nations on Earth and rule everything. Why are they acting like you need thousands of them? But it turns out he's speaking out of his weapon holster, as there could be tens of thousands of them and no one would ever know. So he's trying to convince him to get Nick Fury, as he's apparently the only person that can solve this. They have no idea if Nick Fury is a Skrull. Maybe they just wouldn't impersonate someone so pathetic and weak. Okay, I said I'd drop it. But he tries to convince him with evidence, with the big one, which he's securely stored behind a fridge.
All these other attacks, they would be nothing compared to this. This is the one that sets the world on fire.
What is it, a copy of the cancelled Batgirl movie or something? I tried to delete these, but I got a copy anyway. This will set the world on fire. Imagine the views. But after seeing evidence, he says, okay, I'll get Fury, and the guy responds appropriately. Imagine his response if he didn't get what he wanted. After all the times I've seen this, why are they acting like you need thousands of them? I did that made him slip up. They never tell you. But they have a fight, there's a tube around the neck involved, until Beanie Guy has lost the fight and is forced to shoot Shirt Guy. Who needs names with in-depth descriptions like that? I'm just glad he put his beanie back on. So we leave the building, and immediately, he's getting tailed. Very poorly, I might add. At that distance, even I'd notice it. This is meant to be Russia, but they're walking down an alleyway in Leeds or Halifax. At this point, it might as well be documentary footage. Especially as a car almost drives both of them over for no reason whatsoever. It's not even part of the script. I don't know why they try and run over their own crew.
I need an extract fast.
And a therapist, mate. You seem to be talking to your own hand. But he's got backup and he's given a location to get to. For some reason, this guy's still following him about 2 feet away, but still hasn't done anything to actually catch him. He reaches back as if he's going to get a weapon. I don't know why. At no point does he ever use one. But that makes this guy panic, who decides to run. And this is an incredibly strange sequence. There are multiple times he could have got caught or taken down, and the guy just lets him get away. We get a very weird first-person view through a crowd. There's even a bizarre hand in the screen, and to push him out of the way from this perspective, he would have to be like that. I always push people out of the way like this. But he's chasing the guy down the stairs, and his intention is meant to be to catch him, he just doesn't seem to care that much. Because the guy falls down the stairs, you'd be like, well, this is the perfect opportunity. No, it's just gonna stand there. Why? The guy you're chasing has just fallen over and you're like, okay, I'll let him get back up. Give him a minute, folks. The show will be over too soon if I catch him that easy. So he falls over, gets run over, and the guy's just standing at the top of the stairs, not bothering to chase him. He only starts moving down the stairs again after this guy's got up. Oh, I guess I'll start again now, mate. What is this chase? Especially as this happens and it breaks the laws of physics. Because they're chasing each other, right? So they should be directly behind each other. Except he runs up to this door from the left-hand side. The guy approaches from an entirely different angle. What kind of path did you take to approach the door from right angles? So they run all the way up the stairs, jumping across rooftops. I do admire their restraint in that none of them shouted, "Parkour!" Although eventually, this guy gets to the end of the building, tries to jump for the next one, misses, and falls all the way to the floor. Oh, it was like Kenobi all over again, except he's not 6 years old dangling from a wire. So this guy's just like, well, that was stupid. So his contact gets out and she's rather unconcerned that he's just jumped off a roof. We'd be like, what's happened to you? Why did you jump off a roof? Is there anyone around that I should be defending myself from? Because you're clearly just been chased if you needed to jump off a roof. Shouldn't think about any of that. She's only a top secret agent. They're not really renowned for their situational awareness. But the guy chasing him turns up and is completely unconcerned walking out in front of her. But she knows him as Talos, a name I'm definitely going to forget.
Talos.
It's me.
Yeah, but how do we know it's you? You've just proved you're a shapeshifter. Someone could shapeshift into you.
What the hell are you doing here?
Why are you dropping your firearm? He could be anybody, love.
It's me.
One of the problems with the plot about shapeshifters is you have to be really intelligent writing it, as everybody would have to know that they could be anybody, except none of the characters in this show seem to think like that at all. Even though they know the shapeshifters, everybody just trusts that everybody is who they say they are at all times. Imagine The Thing if everybody just trusted everybody all the time. But it turns out that Martin Freeman was an alien all along, which would at least explain a few things. We do get that top-class Marvel writing that the fans have come to expect.
He was one of you.
Nah, he's one of them.
Thanks for that, love. Very enlightening. Welcome to the intro credits. These start at 8 minutes and 2 seconds. Finish at 10 minutes and 3 seconds. It's a running joke how long the end credits go for. When your intro sequence is 2 minutes long, you are taking the piss. Luckily, it's on streaming, so you can just skip past all the names of irrelevant people. So egotistical that they think you should be forced to watch their name appear on a screen just to get to the content. Can you imagine if I did that on every YouTube video for 2 minutes? You'd leave, and you'd be right to. Sorry, it's actually 10 minutes and 8 seconds. It's worse than I thought. But we get a beam of light from the sky, and someone with a really long neck. I googled actors with long necks for a joke and ended up in a place I never wanted to be in. That's a strange part of the internet. But it's Nick Fury, and his Uber's arrived in the middle of a field. But don't worry, he's just arrived, and that means we can start humiliating him. Yeah, he's got a dodgy knee. When they beamed you down from the sky, did they not have brakes or something? Also, I know what you're thinking. Well, this probably plays into the story later, right? No, he has a dodgy knee in this scene and then not at any other part of the episode. But he can barely walk in this. I think we just needed a visual representation of he's old and useless. He can't even walk across a field. How is he going to stop the invasion of Earth?
Welcome back to Earth.
Know what's left of you. But don't worry, the show's going to jump right into the deep end with what it's best at. People talking in rooms. We have a very blunt analogy about how the plants adapted to Earth, and so I think you can too. What is this? Either that's a Skrull greeting or Nick Fury spent too long on that space station.
I am so sorry.
After having watched episode 1, you should be.
Tell me about gravity. Let's just talk about you first, yeah?
Great. Let me know about the alien invasion, which is threatening all of Earth. Okay, but can we get down to humiliating you first? Because I think that'll be far more fun.
We've been helping you for all these years, but after the blip, you were different.
We've been helping you for ages, but you did let us down, and you are useless at everything you do.
And then you disappeared. Carol Danvers disappeared.
Wait, no. Every cloud. Carol Danvers has disappeared. Quick, take over the planet. We're gonna need to be organized, everyone, to make sure she never returns. Now, he does mention that his daughter has disappeared. Fury questions him about this, and he's just like, oh, she's young, she's angry, you know, normal teenager things. Run off to join a group intent on world domination. We've all been there. You know, that teenage rebellious stage. Dye your hair purple, stay out too long, try and buy a dirty bomb to destroy the world. The usual. But this guy's been pushed off the Skrull Council and replaced by somebody a little bit more active.
Gravik, mate, he took your abandonment that much harder.
This is a story they keep pushing. Oh, you came back from the blip and abandoned us. You didn't have any contact with us. He didn't even go that far. He was just orbiting Earth, literally setting up planetary defenses. And they're acting like some kind of jilted ex. Now, the Skrulls are immune to radiation, and so they're using an abandoned nuclear power plant in order to hide.
But here's the thing. These plants, they're not on the books.
How is that even physically possible? These are electric power plants. They generated electricity to send it out to places. Surely we can find the power plants just by following the overhead cables. You can't have secret power plants.
We don't know where he is.
Really, that says more about you than the Skrulls, to be honest. Don't worry, this show never lets you down when it comes to an intellectual script.
What else do we know about his plans?
Well, he's already made them.
Are you having a laugh? Of course he's already made them. That's why they're his plans. How is somebody going to have a set of plans that they haven't made yet? That guy's planned what he's going to do tomorrow. I heard he's even decided.
This is what Agent Ross...
How did you just let that line go without laughing in her face? But the Skrulls' plan, because they're immune to radiation, is to set off a dirty bomb. That was the big apocalyptic plan he was warning about at the start of the episode. The issue is, the plan doesn't make any sense.
Robert's trying to start a war between Russia and the United States.
How? The only reason a dirty bomb would start a war is if they thought it was a genuine attack. You know it's not a genuine attack because you know somebody's faking it. So even if the attack goes off, why would you attack another country for it when you know they had nothing to do with it? Oh well, I guess I better bring about the apocalypse just to keep up appearances. It's like knowing that someone's trying to set up your mate Dave, but blaming Dave for it anyway.
And he's gonna use this bomb to do it.
Well, he's going to use the bomb and the incredibly low IQ of apparently your entire leadership.
Does he have the materials for that?
You just said he was hiding out in a nuclear power station. So this guy whose base is in a nuclear power plant, do we think he's got any nuclear material? Fury, I think being in space has had side effects.
We brought you here for a reason. If he succeeds, your species will cease to exist.
No, his species will only cease to exist if they attack somebody who is entirely innocent for something they didn't even do. And no, they didn't do. This is the most stupid plan you could have possibly come up with.
Your species will cease to exist.
I don't know why you're standing up like you're so offended. He's only telling you the truth, mate. How dare you say that to me? He's not the one doing it. But Fury says he's going for a walk, and this guy's like, you're going for a walk in Moscow? You'll stand out. So? This is Nick Fury. Do you think he can't defend himself? Because he can't defend himself. We had a scene over at the White House where they're like, oh, Nick Fury's back on Earth, and he seems to be AWOL because he's not responding to us. But Nick is walking through Leeds. There's some people on the bench going at it, and Fury's just like, oh. It's really weird. I don't know why this scene exists. He's just staring at them. So she stares back at him as if, what are you doing, you creepy little weirdo? Doesn't stop him. This is Nick Fury. I'll gawk if I want to. Although it may turn out that the Skrulls knew about him all along. Does the little girl and the ball appear later in the episode. But before that, Fury's got about 5 minutes without being insulted, so better get that out the way. Yep, he gets bagged by a random bloke on the street. And just shoved in a van without a fight. Nick Fury, the guy who we've seen fight off an army in his car, doesn't even struggle when people are kidnapping him off the street. He really is useless in this show, which is probably why everyone keeps telling him that he is.
Did you just have me extraordinarily rendition?
They're doing the whole I can maintain my composure in such a situation.
You're not extraordinary. You should only scratch the surface of mediocrity.
Yeah, he wasn't captured by the best. He was captured by people who are just a bit average. They kind of fail at most things, but at least they managed to capture you, because you can't even defend yourself against mediocrity. But while he's here, Fury activates the Eye of an Owl as a spy tool. For some reason, she doesn't know that the owl can be used to spy on her. I don't know if this is a reference to an old movie I can't remember or something, but you would have thought she would have had some kind of counter-surveillance in her own office. But we start talking about the Skrull rebellion. You know his leader personally, don't you? Well, I did.
Is that why you came down from your space station? You feel responsible?
It's all your fault, mate. You're gonna destroy the world. Yeah, we just kidnapped Nick Fury so we can kick him in the face a few times. And he doesn't deny it. We keep telling him how he's useless and responsible for all of this. At no point does he deny it. But he asked her about the Skrulls' robbery and gaining the weapons. She denies knowing anything about it, but he knows she's lying.
The fact that you don't know tells me all I need to know about this new, rather old Nick Fury.
You're old, broken, and useless. You're responsible for all of the world's ills, and you can't do anything about it.
I think Thanos' snap changed you.
Changed a lot of things, including Disney. Seem to have just snapped away their ability to make anything good.
Taught you that no matter how hard you fight for what's right, there's always someone stronger to undermine you.
In other words, it snapped and broke his ego. There's just always another guy. I can't take it. Just what everyone wanted from Nick Fury. Self-pity. But he offers to work together. I know the Skrulls, you've got the resources. We can join forces and stop them.
We used to work pretty well together back in the day.
Back in the day, you would have seen my rather mediocre bagmen coming a mile away.
But you can't now because you're trash, mate. Once again, reminding him that you got kidnapped by mediocrity. Nick Fury, not even an average agent anymore.
The fact that you didn't see them coming means you haven't a hope in hell of seeing Gravik and his rebels coming.
So it's useless, you're doomed because you're old, broken, and a shadow of your former self. Just what everyone wanted when they tuned into Secret Invasion. Tune in for the sequel where we get to see Nick Fury in an old people's home. What will he do today? If you're lucky, he might even be able to change his own dentures.
Which makes you, as a partner, rather pointless.
Pointless Nick Fury. So useless, you're more of a hindrance than a help.
I let your men take me so I could get to you.
This rebuttal would mean a lot more if Everyone in the show wasn't saying exactly the same thing about him all of the time.
I mean this as a friend, Fury, but go back to your space station.
And if it wasn't constantly reinforced.
You're in no shape for this fight that lies before us.
Constantly reinforced. If everyone is telling a character something and the character's just denying it as if, no, I'm the one with all the secret plans, really, and everyone else is taking the piss out of him, you don't make it look like one man standing against the world, you make him look deluded. Especially when none of his actions prove them wrong. Over at the Skrull encampment, we've got a new recruit. Daenerys Targaryen comes to meet him.
Take your natural form.
At least she didn't set him on fire. I mean, that's a start. I do like this, though, because it's pretty sneaky. You don't need CGI if we cover his face with the hat for a bit. As soon as his face is covered, just do the cut. It's easy. Even do it on the way back.
Welcome to New Skrulls.
Yeah, I suppose it'd have to be you destroyed the last one with a dragon.
When's the last time you ate?
Why would he not be eating? He's a Skrull. He can transform into anybody. You could walk into somebody's house and get their wife to feed you. If you have shape-changing powers and are struggling through life, I wouldn't want you in my camp. Luckily, though, she's got food in her car. She keeps blue vegetables in her glove box for some reason. She says we grow only skull produce here. Whatever dangers you face to get here, it's worth it. I don't know why anyone's that bothered about their food from home.
Thank you.
I don't know why you're that grateful for it, mate. I wouldn't be that concerned about fish and chips. Tea, though. Maybe tea. Many an Englishman have gone to America and complained about the availability of tea. Apparently it tastes like dishwater over there. I wouldn't know. I've never been. They'd just be really grateful for a cuppa. But we go to the nuclear power plant. You know, the one that nobody knows where it is, despite the fact that it's obvious. There is no hiding these things from satellite imagery. So we go over to the abandoned buildings. It's like, yep, that's Halifax for you. You get various images of the Skrull encampment, and despite saying, oh, it's so worth it to be here, it looks like a rundown crap hole. I just think an army of shape-changing aliens should have been able to do better. Now, there's two groups of people, the civilians that just stay in the encampment, and the soldiers, who are allowed to leave.
The warriors keep our human form. The longer we attach to our shells, the less likely we can be identified.
And really saves on those makeup costs. Yeah, we can shape-change into anyone, but really, we just spend most of our time as humans. I actually chose the image of someone that was in Game of Thrones.
What's behind that?
Victory.
We can't think of a clever answer, so we'll just say victory. It's nonsensical, but I'm sure no one will question it. That'd be stupid. But it turns out to be the place they're keeping all the people that they impersonate.
What is your fight? Skrulls. What is your dream? Home.
Through anger, my chains are broken. Sorry, no, wrong show. But we see him transform into a human, watch the guy get mind zapped, and then have his memories sucked out of his face. Back to the Owl Eye, and Fury is spying on the person that kidnapped him. And it is nice to see that over there, they sell entirely unbranded bags of crisps. Couldn't get a sponsor for it, you see, so we just had to use a plain bag.
She's an ugly-ass Skrull like you.
I'm considered good-looking amongst my kind.
You're a shape changer. How do you even have an ugly shapeshifter? If you don't like your face, just get a new one. Which I can see being a problem when everyone just looks like Kate Beckinsale.
I know a bunch of good-looking Skrulls. You ain't one of them.
I want to see that story. Nick Fury and his hot tub adventures. No wonder he allowed all the Skrulls to stay on Earth. He has rather specialist tastes. But after listening in from the plan from Peep Show, he says, she is someone who goes scorched Earth. So if you want to save some Skrulls, we're going to have to go to war with her as well.
You want to save innocent Skrulls, you're going to have to hurt some people.
Yeah, the innocent Skrulls, right? The ones literally planning to bring about the apocalypse. Who do they think they are, the little rascals? Obviously, we can't punish them for that.
Gravik knows that mercy's your weakness.
Yeah, we're just going to tell him this. We're not going to show any of it. I just love it when one character tells the other character what their own personality is. I always do that in life. You know your problem? You're too merciful. That's why you want to bring about the apocalypse. Alright, dude, calm down. Put any more sugar in that thing, you won't have any tea left. But this guy comes in to tell the boss that Fury has been found in the town.
Is he? The man says it's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, you know, it's only Nick Fury. Nothing to worry about at all. No one's ever been concerned when they found out Nick Fury was after them.
He's washed up, walks with a limp, can barely see out the good eye.
Nick Fury, he's useless. Old, washed up, can't walk, can barely see anyway. Every single character in this show just craps on him constantly. But they start talking about what's most important. It's like the cause is most important. You are the cause.
Not the cause. The cause is home.
Your home's gone, mate. Surely you mean making a new home, which for you seems to be an irradiated wasteland. No wonder you filmed it in Halifax. Do you even need to bring about the apocalypse? It's basically already there. But Daenerys gets called away from her talk with the new guy and gets given instructions. Take this cash, go to a meeting, get 2 bags from him, and then get to the safe house. So she puts the money in her glove box alongside the blue fruit. Why? I'm going to close my door. No, you're not. Now you are. What was that meant to achieve? Yeah, I really taught you a lesson by stopping your door closing for a second. I don't know whether that was meant to make you look tough or mentally deficient. So she goes to meet her contact, spots this guy by a car, very quickly gets incapacitated by the Skrull. They don't know that they're each at this location, it's just a happy coincidence. It's a lot easier to write something when everything's just luck. So she meets her contact with the money, they break in through the back gate.
Not bad for a 136-year-old.
Haven't even gone on my midlife crisis shopping. What you get for yours?
Never miss an opportunity, do we? Hey dude, that wasn't bad, you ripped off some chains with your bare hands. Oh, thanks for the compliment, mate. Oh, by the way, you're old and past it and had a midlife crisis. Has anyone ever told you how useless you are?
What you get for yours?
The Avengers.
Well, that worked out well for you. Look at you now. There's a Skrull invasion and you can't even be bothered to call them. Don't worry, I'll solve this myself, as I'm old, past it, and broken. By this point, Daenerys has walked off with the bags, and it turns out they're there to meet the same bloke. Meanwhile, Daenerys gets spotted by an agent. I'm not sure how she knows who she is.
Got eyes on a possible person of interest.
Yeah, but how do you know it's a possible person of interest? It was just someone walked past you with a bag.
Initiating foot pursuit. I'll keep you posted.
Yeah, just keep me informed.
But it does prove that she's got live comms to Fury. This is important, because they entirely forget about that later. So this guy, pretending to be an art collector, is getting held up by a guy with a gun in his own shop, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I have an art appointment to get to." You do realize if you were just a normal art collector, this would be intimidating to you. The fact that you're not reacting to the guy with the gun is the suspicious part. But they make a joke about how he's sitting in an expensive chair and he'll ruin it if he doesn't get answers. He catches the guy lying about his wife, and this is him trying to be intimidating.
Everybody gets one. Nobody gets two.
The threat only works if you actually follow it up with something. So Fury again asks him, have you heard about a dirty bomb?
How about dirty bomb?
I'm sorry, I do not know this term, dirty bomb.
First you're too calm, and now you're just too thick. Who hasn't heard of the term dirty bomb? Couldn't you sort of work it out from the name anyway? Otherwise, what do you think it is? A bomb that hasn't washed in a while?
Boom goes the dynamite. Line number 2.
And so they decide the way to make him talk is to start punching him in the face, because people are always very chatty after you've knocked them out. What follows is the two Skrulls having a fight. He is particularly agile, and good guy Skrull is getting his ass kicked. He gets knocked through pillars. Fury just wants to shoot the guy, but he's like, "No, I can take him," after he's just got thrown through a pillar. Yeah, mate, you really look like you want in control of this.
I got this. You sure?
The look of complete bewilderment on his face really sums up the entire scene. So they have a lot of back and forth, both get in some good hits, until eventually he gets him in a hold, but it's not a particularly good one. Because despite looking as if, okay, there's no way the guy's getting out of this, that's all he needed to do. Yeah, I'm gonna put you in a restraining hold, where the only thing you need to do to break it is... Oh, there we go. What? The entire point of a hold is that they can't get out of it. So he gets absolutely annihilated at this point, leaving Fury no option but to fire.
Come on.
I said no.
Yeah, that was before you were getting your ass kicked and were about to die. Look, I know we said he was merciful, but nobody said he was stupid as well. If it comes down to a choice between the two of you, I don't know why you're mad about it. But Fury walks off, leaving the Skrull to sit there and mope. Or so you might think. I can only assume what follows is extremely bad editing because it doesn't make any sense at all. We're back with Daenerys, who's getting followed. She realizes she's getting followed, and so dodges down a tunnel to get away from her. We follow her through a door, only to end up with a fight in a hallway, which at least beats CW's emotions in hallways, I guess. Because she disarms her, have a fight between the two of them, only for her to get absolutely annihilated at record speed. Like, seriously, this wasn't fair at all. It really begs the question, why are you following a Skrull one-on-one in the first place, if they can just beat you up that easily? So Daenerys runs off, and as she's getting up, guess who appears? This guy. The guy that was moping over a dead Skrull on the floor. The guy who didn't have comms. The guy who has never been told about this. She never radioed for backup or help. I don't know how he knew where this fight was going down. I don't know why Fury isn't here, considering he's the one that had the comms and she was talking to. Fury was the one that left the building. He never left the building. He's just teleported here into a different scene that he didn't know about. Where is your continuity editing? It makes no sense that he's here, except for the fact that he had to be here for what comes next, so they just teleported him. She doesn't ask, like, how on earth did you know I was here? I never told you. But he's chasing Daenerys. He doesn't know it's Daenerys. He's just screaming, "Stop, stop!" when I don't even know why he's got a gun. It's not like he's going to use it, especially when he finds out it's his daughter.
Stop! Last warning!
It's what you always say, but there's always another.
Yeah, we're gonna tell him that he's useless and weak and merciful again. Just keep warning me and warning me and warning me. Like, at some point, can you just punish me? This is literally the child telling him he's a bad parent because she needed more punishment. Look, Dad, if you'd stopped me eating cookies, then I wouldn't have joined an organization that was intent on destroying the world. I told you should have kept me off TikTok. So at this point, you're already thinking he's pretty stupid. You ain't seen nothing yet.
Give me the bombs.
No.
Give me the bombs that you are going to use to bring about the apocalypse. No. Now at this point, you'd assume that fatherly instinct would kick in. But this is Disney Marvel, so we don't have any of that.
I know you're angry. This isn't you.
This is literally her, and anger isn't an excuse to bring about the apocalypse. Where's the righteous fury?
It's not what your mother would have wanted.
Mum doesn't know what she wants.
If your mom wanted the apocalypse, then he's got horrible taste. I mean, there are many reasons why someone can be a bad pick, but wanting to destroy the world shouldn't be one of them. Where on earth did you even find that one? What were the hobbies on her profile? Megalomania?
Her last words? Find Gaia.
Notice how they weren't find Gaia and stop her from taking over the world. So at this point, the daughter could actually be right. But he tells her that her mum has died. Not news you'd normally give at the wrong end of a gun, but here we are. Of course, he then decides to disarm himself. It's only stopping the apocalypse, mate. It's not a big deal. Guy's a complete waste of space. We keep calling Fury useless. What about this dude? So he puts him down on the floor and just starts asking for the just politely. Oh, it's fine.
I can't.
Just hand it over.
Where in your tiny little mind did you think this would work? So she just goes up the ladder. And of course he can't stop her because he's already disarmed himself. And what does he do? Yeah, mate, you just stand there and have a break for a bit. It's not like it's the end of the world or anything. I just expected people to care a bit more about the apocalypse. Call me crazy. So Daenerys leaves and sort of slides down a wall crying, probably having flashbacks to burning an entire city on the back of a dragon. First she burns down a city, then she destroys the world. There has to be a point as an actor where you think, maybe it's just me. I must just have one of those faces where people think I should be cast destroying Earth. So Fury, good as ever, decides to go to a pub. Bearing in mind that one of his agents was in trouble in a fight and lost, and his mate turned up to save her, who didn't have comms, and Fury, who did have comms, so presumably heard about the same fight at the very least, even if they've both got them, decided, nah, she can handle herself, I don't care if she's in trouble and about to die, I need to go to a pub. That's just more important. I don't know what scene you cut that was meant to make sense of this, but it really doesn't. So he goes up to the bar.
Добрый вечер.
Подождите.
That's particularly weird, and I don't know whether these are meant to be Skrulls, but if they are, unless you've got an infinite amount of them, what were they just doing in a random bar that no one knew he was going to? And I'm assuming they're Skrulls because one of them says this.
Смотри сколько хочешь, все равно не будешь.
You can stare all you want, but you'll never be the man you once were. Yeah, sorry, we went 5 minutes without calling Nick Fury a sad old broken man, so we had to get that in again. I swear it's like half the content of the episode. So no wonder he's asking him, can you repeat that? Because that's a very odd comment to come from a random bloke in a bar that no one knew I was going to. And unless you're a Skrull, it doesn't make sense. But if you are a Skrull, then it doesn't make sense how you were here. Yes, it's just one of those coincidences again. So he meets up with his mate, who was got a broken nose by the looks of it. He doesn't ask her about a broken nose, because I'm assuming that he didn't know she was in a fight. Otherwise, he should have turned up and helped her. I mean, the other guy did.
How do you think we kept the Cold War going hot?
Kept it in the refrigerator? I don't know. Nor do I much care when this is the scene that a lot of people have already seen. Oh, you thought we only insulted him every 5 minutes? No. We've just insulted him at the bar, but now he's sat down, and we can insult him again.
Spooks like me, bad shots.
You can't say that.
No, you can't say that.
No, anyone can say that. It's just a BBC TV show about spies. I've never even heard of that as a word you shouldn't say. It literally just means spies. Don't worry though, Marvel always want to make up new words to get offended over. It is interesting as well, the idea that one person can say something but the other person can't. There's a word for that beginning with ah.
It's good to have you back, Fury.
Is that sincere?
I think it is sincere. She wanted to have you back so she could meet you and then insult you to your face. I mean, you're only Nick Fury, her boss. It's not like you're gonna do anything. Now, if you're actually someone to be respected, then I wouldn't dare say this to you, but after all, you're just a useless waste of space now, aren't you, mate?
You gonna tell me why you abandoned Earth?
Wow.
There we go, right for the jugular, right from the start, but we are far from finished yet.
Okay, let's just say I had a crisis of faith.
Basically a useless waste of space. At a crisis of faith, I'm now nothing but a broken husk of what I once was, because I've lost all my self-confidence when we saved the world.
So why'd you come back?
You asked him. She was literally the one that sent the message to ask him to come back to Earth. That's why she picked him up in a car. How did you forget your own episode in the episode?
It followed me up there.
And isn't that the point? If you had a crisis of faith, it's your crisis, so wherever you go, it will follow you everywhere. This doesn't even make any sense.
You gonna move?
I haven't decided.
See, that's what I'm worried about.
Here we go, lads. We're about to get insulted by someone who can't even follow a person in the street without getting 7 shades kicked out of them. Your insults might carry more weight if you weren't sitting there with a broken nose.
The Fury I knew was always 3 steps ahead.
If I remember correctly, you called me.
upon Talos' request.
See, I didn't want to call you. I did it for somebody else. I would have left you up there. You old, broken, sad excuse for a secret agent, says the one who can't even win in a fight. When in your training did you get taught how to not get spotted as a tail? I'd love to know.
Your lack of contact over the past few years sent a pretty clear message.
Meaning?
You're not ready for this.
And how would you know? He's literally been up in space. But now we're gonna get lectured by the wine-aunt who can't even do her own job properly. They're always the ones you should listen to.
There's a very real threat out there. You were never the same after the blip.
Probably would have been nice to have shown us that rather than just have everyone repeatedly tell him how crap he is at every turn.
You always told me there is no shame in walking away.
Just give up, Fury. Just give up and walk away because you're crap and useless at everything and everyone can see it. Even random people in a bar.
When the steps are uncertain. So check your footing.
Might want to check yours, love, because last time you had to do your job, you were collapsed on the floor.
Otherwise, someone's gonna get hurt.
You did get hurt, and it was your own fault. I want to spend more time worrying about your own problems rather than everyone else's. But of course, this is Disney Marvel, and she's got fallopian tubes, so she has to be correct. That's why we immediately cut over to Nick Fury having a nervous breakdown. He's having flashbacks on his bed to the blip. I don't know why this would bother him. He was like snapped out of existence. Not as if he could have done anything. But Daenerys returns to her bosses with the bags. She says she got accosted on the way out, but doesn't say that it was her dad. Suppose she doesn't want to mention it. It might make Christmas dinner a little bit awkward. But we cut over to a random person. She gets in a cab. We see a random driver. Only for her dad to turn out to be the driver. With Daenerys finding out what it's like to be a blonde. Again.
Thanks for coming to see me.
You don't see me because I'm not here.
Okay, I mean, given the state of the world at the moment, I guess I have no other choice than to believe you.
I understand. You're taking a risk.
No, she's not taking a risk, because she's not there.
A risk? Is that what you explained to Mum? That following you could get her killed?
How would following him get her killed? You want to bring about the apocalypse. How did we suddenly get in the situation where he's the dangerous one? You want to wipe out 7 billion people. You can't have a character who's the villain that wants to wipe out the planet, morally lecturing her dad. She has no moral high ground to stand on. She can't even see the moral high ground.
Your mother died while you were working for her killer.
I mean, working's a bit strong. People have different definitions of work. You do see comments on YouTube videos about why don't you just get a proper job? But I think all of us can unify behind the idea that trying to bring about the apocalypse isn't work. That trying to destroy the planet isn't work.
You have one chance to save yourself.
That's what you told her before. And then she said there's always another warning. So you gave her another warning. And in this warning, you're like, well, this is your only warning. Do you understand why no one can take you seriously and your parenting method sucks? I mean, at least most people just turn a little bit unruly, maybe rebel. You raise someone who's going to destroy the earth. But she decides to spill the beans. Because I'm not going to say spill the tea. That would be sacrilegious. There's an attack for tomorrow. There's going to be 2 bags, 2 bombs. And I'm going to mark them with infrared spray.
There are 3 bombs.
Okay, I didn't know there were 3 bombs. How are there 3 bombs? Because there's only 2 bags. I don't know whether this is a problem with the script or I got confused somewhere along the line. You only got 2 packages, 2 bags. Therefore, it'd be 2 bombs. Where does the 3rd one come from?
And Gravik knows you'll be there.
How?
I don't know.
Which you must know. I don't know how you can't know. Because he wouldn't have been there if you weren't standing in front of him, telling him where he should be. If you hadn't given him this information, he wouldn't have been there and Gravik would have been wrong. So unless Gravik is relying on you to tell them, and therefore knows that you're telling them, your entire story doesn't make sense. The only way your story makes sense is if you're setting them up and lying to him right now. And if I can put that together, then why can't the professional spy?
There's so many operatives in the field. 100 at least.
It doesn't matter how many operatives there are in the field, because he wouldn't know to be there unless you told him.
Fracking pods?
Alright, calm down with the language, mate. This isn't Farscape.
Your mum would be very proud of you for coming to see me.
Your mum would be so proud that you're setting me up so we could all die. She really liked the bit about how you obviously lied to me and contradicted your own story, therefore proving that you're guilty, and I'm just too thick to realise. That's the best bit that she'd really enjoy. She always liked irony.
There are 3 couriers.
How is there 3 couriers? You only had 2 bags. Where does the 3rd bag come from? So he goes back and tells Fury, my daughter's back. Whereas if he just thought about it for 2 seconds, he'd realise that's really stupid. No one else even questions it though, they just believe him. Yay, this person who wanted to destroy the world just doesn't anymore for no reason. I spoke to her in a sewer for a bit and she just changed her mind. Either way, we've set up to spy on the event. They're all in 3 different locations so they can get a view of the entire area. Because you wouldn't want to be next to each other, as then you'd have the same line of sight and easily lose people in a crowd. Whereas if you're in 3 different places, you can't have your line of sight blocked by 1 object. That'd be really stupid. So when they see her walking through the park...
I got eyes on her.
2 backpacks.
Why are we back down to 2 backpacks now? She went got 2 backpacks, then we're told there's 3 backpacks, now there's 2 again. I'm only asking for a little bit of consistency. This is episode 1. But she's walking along the park.
Remember, we're tracking the bags, not the people.
It's okay, though, because she marked them with infrared spray.
A lot of backpacks in central Moscow.
Yeah, but there aren't a lot of backpacks marked with infrared spray.
Guys painted ours with infrared spray.
Why are you telling them that now? You were told that last night. When you were going through the plan for this mission, did you not tell the other people that the bags were marked with infrared spray? Did none of them go, how are we going to track some bags? And you're like, well, we've got an advantage there. You're just like, nah, I'm going to leave that till we're in the field. What if they can't track infrared spray?
Infrared. Got it.
I mean, it's incredibly lucky that he had infrared glasses to hand when he had no idea he was going to need them. But she's walking along, and she walks behind a fountain.
We missed the pass.
How? You're in 3 different places. How did all of you lose line of sight on one person behind a fountain? Did you take 3 different places just next to each other? Either way, this causes them to split up as they spot different bags. What follows next is a chase scene on par with Kenobi. One was a 6-year-old running through a city that couldn't get caught by adults. And this is one of the slowest chases in the world because he's too polite to walk through people in a crowd.
Excuse me.
Yeah, don't rush, love. I mean, it's only the apocalypse. Wouldn't want to shoulder barge somebody out the way. That'd be rude. And what's the point of saving the world if you don't have manners? See what I mean about one of the most boring chases? You just see the top of their head walk around people very slowly. It's hardly Mission Impossible, is it? The music's doing its best to try and make this sound like it's got some tension in it. Oh no, we've lost her. I tell you, with a pair of speed demons like you two, I'm amazed she got away. But now they're in trouble, because they're in a big open area with a massive crowd. Until Fury sees someone that he's seen before, with a very familiar ball. And because this is a Disney production after all, when Fury sees someone like that, he has no other choice but to follow them. That's what he does. I mean, that's not creepy at all, is it? Either way, the other two catch up with the bags. Although, even though she can see the bag, not really in a rush to catch him, she's just happy to go for a little stroll. Don't worry, love, it's only a bomb that's gonna go off. It's not like it's a big deal or anything. Wouldn't want to rush, you might break a nail. Seriously, I have no idea what her plan is or how she thinks she's gonna stop him at this speed. At least the other guy is making an attempt to have a bit of pace, even if he is overly polite to random passers-by. I'm sure they'd rather be shoulder barged out the way than explode. Oh, sorry, mate, you can go first. I'll let you get... It's alright, I've got all day. There's no rush. It's just on a timer. But as Fury is indulging in his creepy side, she keeps turning around to look at him and make sure he's following, because he's incredibly slow about it. At no point does he make any move to try and catch them. He's just walking at a crawl as if it's not a big deal. I'm only here to stop a couple of bombs. Wouldn't want to rush. But as she goes behind some balloons, turns into a different person. I mean, I've heard of some glow-ups, but that's taking it a little bit far. Fury still doesn't bother to rush. Got all the time in the world, mate. So following this guy extremely slowly, sees him go behind a food truck and come out somebody entirely different again. We gonna stop him now, mate, or we just gonna stare at him as if we've never seen a Skrull before? Well, slowly stagger after him it is. Maybe you should get yourself a Zimmer frame, mate, it might speed you up. But at this moment, everyone moves in to stop the bags. But as we get our final transformation, this guy decides to yeet the bag, which she catches. As far as she knows, it's got a bomb in it. If someone did that to you, you would assume that it was about to explode in your face.
It's empty.
Although there is that. Turns out they got stitched up by his daughter, because the leader is here with the real McCoy, and he doesn't hesitate. So at least we don't have to have the villain doing a really long monologue. After this episode, I'm not sure I could take it. So he detonates it, everyone scatters, there's 3 bombs go off, so I don't know where the 3rd one came from. Did only get 2 bags. Fury decides maybe we should actually do something for once. He could have stopped this guy multiple times before he did anything, and decided not to, and now... yeah, there are people in the way, I suppose I should just run down some stairs instead. But then we cut over to Little Miss Condescending, who sees Fury, and promptly gets shot by him. Obviously, this is a Skrull. Now at this point, you would have thought that if you are spies, fighting shape changers who can turn into you, maybe come up with some way to detect them, or at the very least, ensure that you are who you say you are. Whereas these are people who haven't thought about that at all, and just go around their entire life just assuming that everyone they see is who they think they are. So at this point, the only surprising thing is it didn't happen earlier. And what's worse is Fury turns up, and you're like, hang on, how did this even happen in the first place? Because Fury was here following this person who he knew was a Skrull, because they kept changing into different people and staring at him. So Fury knew they were a Skrull, and he knew that the Skrull knew he was there. He knew he was getting baited, which means he knew it was a trap. Didn't warn anybody. He didn't tell anybody that the Skrulls know we're here. It's a trap. It's a setup. Be on your guard. Instead, she gets shot because Fury never warned her. She dies because she wasn't on a guard because she didn't know it was a trap. Well, let's face it, she's probably not put 2 and 2 together given what we've seen of her IQ previously. But she dies on the floor, and I can't help thinking that maybe if you hadn't had a go at Fury and told him how crap he was, maybe if you hadn't put him down and instead increased his self-confidence, he may have had enough confidence to tell you that the Skrulls were here. It does seem to me a bit like instant karma, but I have no idea what they think they're doing in this show. We came up with a plan that doesn't make sense to begin with. Oh, they're gonna detonate a bomb and blame it on somebody to start a war. And it's like, well, okay, but now you know that's what they're doing. Just don't attack the innocent country for no reason and you'll be fine. So the Skrulls' plan is stupid, but all of these shape-changing abilities rely on the people being stupid to begin with to even work. Like, nobody would have believed that their daughter just switched for no reason. Her story contradicted herself to the point where her story only made sense if she was setting you up. And then even when you're in it, for some reason he didn't tell her about the infrared stuff. And when the Skrulls obviously know you're there and they're leading you to a specific location, you don't even warn anybody. You don't put 2 and 2 together that if they know we're here and they're not scared, it's a setup. You don't come up with anything for the shape changes to prove that you're not a shape changer when you meet somebody. These are basic flaws which have appeared in multiple sci-fi shows and other people have come up with reasons for them. Why haven't you? Why haven't you thought about these things? Shape changes have been used in multiple stories. You could have just copied those to do them properly, and instead, I don't know why that was never mentioned in your story, because you didn't think of them, because you just couldn't come up with an answer, so hoped no one would think about it themselves. And on top of that, to keep putting Fury down to the point where if we removed all of the putting Fury down, the episode would probably be half the length. It really begs the question, who do you think this show is for? Why do you think people are watching it? Because they're watching it for Nick Fury. It would have been so good to watch Nick Fury in his prime, to have him go round and just be a badass from the entire series. And instead, you treat him like crap. You treat the reason why people are watching this show in the first place like crap, and you think that's going to please the audience, do you? Now, this show is nothing like the source material. The director was told to not even bother reading the comics, but to destroy the only reason why people are watching your show in the first place is the height of stupidity. So instead, we get a show about a sad, old, broken Nick Fury who can't do anything, and a dad who is utterly useless at it and managed to raise a child who's going to destroy the world. Oh, congratulations, Marvel. You never fail to disappoint. You hate fathers and leading men. Congratulations. You destroy 2 of the main things that would actually get you an audience. Because I think it's going to be very interesting to see how this does. A lot of people will tune in for the first episode, but how will that fare over the other 6? I can't wait to find out. But those are just my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know down in the comments below. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe for more videos like this in the future, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.